3 days away to Hell in a Cell. Welcome to the first ever After the Count podcast, brought to you by Centennial College. I'm Jose Taboada alongside Sam Pierce. And Sam, welcome to the show. You ready to kick off this new podcast?
I sure am, Jose. I am ready to kick off this monumental first episode of After the Count. Let's do it.
We've been talking about it for months. Since the summer we talked about doing a podcast like this, and the time has come. So let's get things started, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's do it up. All right. So, yes, welcome to the first ever After the Count podcast. I am, once again, Jose Taboada. Sam Pierce here. Sorry, I got your name wrong already. So, this is a WWE podcast. We're going to describe ourselves. My name is Jose, like I said many times already. I am a Centennial student here, first year broadcasting and film. Started here in January for communications. I'm here now. I was part of this radio room originally with the show called Overtime with my co-host Chris, who's no longer at the school. But, I found Sam.
So I was your second choice.
Let's go with that. But, we've been talking about, like I said, starting a podcast for so long, so we're here. So, and I've been a big fan of the WWE when I was in grade 3. From like WrestleMania 18 to 25, and then I got out of it a little bit, but now I just got back into it all of a sudden. Now here I am. Sam, what about you?
Yeah, I started watching wrestling when I was 4 years old. I've been hooked ever since. You grow out of everything, except for me. I never grew out of professional wrestling. I live it, I breathe it, I watch it pretty much every day of my entire life. I've done some work in the professional wrestling world. I've had a weekly published article about professional wrestling on FightNetwork.com. And I've had also some other small podcast projects on YouTube. But I'm really looking forward to doing this weekly wrestling WWE podcast with you, Jose.
Yeah, same here, Sam. Now, it's funny. I just went to my first WWE event only in September. I've been a fan for so long, and I was the Monday Night Raw here, the live Monday Night Raw event, rather.
Yeah, it's a good way to start off your live event experience. I've been to many events myself since I was, must have been 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah, I haven't done it. It's funny, the day we got there, we found out we both were going, and I'm in the 300s, and I saw Sam 5 rows behind, ringside. So I'm just there waving my arms, from the 300s, and I see him waving his arms. I'm like, okay, I got him. Let's enjoy the night.
I could almost touch the actual ring. I've been ringside many times, but there's nothing like live wrestling. Nothing better.
It's funny. He was ringside. There was a YouTube video of him on SmackDown. It had to be one of those funniest things I've seen.
I did the Randy Orton taunt. I almost hit the lady in the face behind me, but...
So what are we doing in this podcast? Well, for one, we're going to be talking about the events that happened in the WWE. So Monday Night Raw, main event, SmackDown if we can the week before, despite that it's tomorrow. SmackDown, we're also going to be previewing and doing the after shows for pay-per-views. And it's funny how I bring that up because this Sunday we have our first pay-per-view, so it's a great way to kick off the podcast with Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot to talk about today concerning this Sunday's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. And you mentioned main event. I would love to talk about WWE main event, but the problem is it's not on television in Canada. I mean, Sportsnet 360 carries all of WWE's main programming. They carry NXT. I don't know why they wouldn't carry main event. It's a part of their core lineup of weekly television shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Definitely disappointed.
That's true. So, and before we go on, yes, we understand, we're not stupid. We're not dumb. Well, some people might think I am, but we know that the WWE is fake.
What?
Okay, all right, Sam, don't you dare pull that on me right now. We know it's fake.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Now now it's labeled as sports entertainment. People are entertained by different things. We just happen to be entertained by the WWE. It is a sport. They do stuff that is athletic. So you can't. I remember one professor tried to argue with you last year, like, oh, it's a sports or it's entertainment. And you just shut her right up.
It's both.
It's sports entertainment. So with that being said, Sam, like I said many times already, we got a pay-per-view this Sunday, don't we?
Hell in a Cell.
So why don't we run that card down, shall we? And here we go. So hold on a minute. I can't even get my audio working. Excuse me for a second. Wait for it.
Hell in a Cell this Sunday. It's going to be a huge event.
I got the music going, so let's kick this out, shall we? The kickoff is we're going to start things off the right way. Curtis Axel taking on Mickey Langston for the Intercontinental Championship. Also, the Divas Championship is on the line. AJ League's going to take on Brie Bella. The tag team championships are on the line. Goldust and Cody Rhodes taking on The Shield and the Usos. CM Punk is going to try to get his revenge as well against Ryback and Paul Heyman. Hell in a Cell. John Cena returns this Sunday with a quick return as he takes on Alberto Del Rio for the World Heavyweight Championship. And lastly, that WWE Championship is finally going to be around somebody's waist. Hell in a Cell. Orton, Daniel Bryan, HBK as a special guest referee.
A great card this Sunday, stacked from top to bottom. I hope we see that finale between Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan. HBK is the special guest referee. I can't wait. And of course, it's inside the cell.
Yeah, that should be really interesting. That's going to come to you from Miami, Florida, inside the American Airlines Center.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Many people were disappointed with last month's Battleground pay-per-view because they didn't like the way that Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan finished. So they're going to attempt to patch things up, I guess, with this late October Hell in a Cell pay-per-view extravaganza.
Mm-hmm. Now, before we can get into Hell in a Cell and what we think is going to happen this Sunday, you got to go back to Monday Night Raw, and there are actually some pretty key events there. For one, you had the contract signing. They always epic, oh so peaceful.
Never.
And I put that in air quotations, contract signing. But was that really peaceful?
You know what? It was probably it was one of the calmer ones I've seen over the past few years. But then we had the huge closing moment when the Big Show came in on that huge 18-wheeler truck.
It's just a truck, not a big deal. Only a nice big black truck.
Well, at Big Show's the largest athlete, although I'm pretty sure Great Khali's taller than him, so I'm not sure why they keep saying that. But nonetheless, it makes sense that he drives a huge truck into the arena. Of course, he was fired a few weeks ago after interrupting the Battleground main event, and that did not allow for a new WWE champion to be crowned. And he's been feuding with the Authority, and basically over the past few weeks, his main efforts have just been to screw up whatever the Authority's doing.
He gave the Rhodes the tag team championships.
Yeah.
He distracted Randy Orton this past Monday for Daniel Bryan to get a sneak attack in what we could see a lot this Sunday inside that cell.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, how is Big Show going to get inside that cell?
Yeah.
No way in or no way out,
well,
right?
You can't really say that because if you people remember, you go way back, I don't know, Bad Blood 1997 at the first ever Hell in a Cell, there was only another big monster called Kane that ripped through that door and, kind of tombstoned the Undertaker. So there's no way out? No. But is there a way in? Oh, yes. A big way in. They elevated the cell, like the height over the years.
Yeah, it's bigger
I don't think it's going to stop anybody to, slam a mud hole or stomp a mud hole rather onto the top of the cell and smash somebody down through the ring. So you never know. So you could see him this Sunday.
Yeah, I think that closing moment of Raw was a great way to give Daniel Bryan momentum heading into this Sunday's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. And, contract signings, we always know there's going to be something that goes down. I don't even know why they had the contract signing a week before the event. I don't think that's how it works in real fighting like UFC or MMA. I think they signed the contract many months prior. But, that's just the risk you take going into WWE.
Unless, you say with this contract signing the week before, all right, this is a contract saying this is going to end this Sunday, and it can't go any further. Although, come on, who are we kidding? The odds of that going farther than Hell in a Cell are pretty big. You got the Survivor Series next month. What are the odds?
Can happen in the WWE.
What do you think of the odds of a Randy Orton versus Team Daniel Bryan match at the Survivor Series?
I don't know. I mean, I think they want to have the WWE title defended at Survivor Series, so I don't think whoever wins the title, I don't think that man will headline a team. They'll end up defending that title, but whoever loses might headline a team at Survivor Series. For example, say Orton wins this Sunday, it'll be Team Bryan versus Team Authority. And Triple H will have to recruit some other members for his team, possibly Shield members, stuff like that, right?
Yep. So, switching gears here, that happened on Monday Night Raw. We're just going to highlight the key events on Monday Night Raw.
It was a good show. A lot of tag matches. I was really surprised to see.
There was the one big tag match that tried to determine the number one contender for the tag team championships, the Usos and the Shield. The Rhodes got involved, things got out of hand.
Why the Usos had to earn another shot at the tag team titles was beyond me, because they were already the number one contenders.
They were.
And they never got their shot. Instead, the Rhodes family swept in and took their shot at the tag titles. Regardless, though, they were in that match against against the Shield to determine the number one contenders, and that did not end smoothly. So this Sunday it's going to be that triple threat Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah.
Not Hell in a Cell, triple threat tag team title match at Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, that's right. And Vicky Guerrero announced that just after the commercial break on Monday Night Raw, before the contract signing, that it was a triple threat tag team match. It's just spicing up. I mean, how long has it been? Shield and the Rhodes and Shield, from Battleground to Night of Champions to everything, and now all of a sudden you got the Usos in the mix, and they've been, how long have they been wanting a title shot for?
You know what? I don't think the Usos add too much to this match. I think the main storyline is still between the Shield and the Rhodes family. I don't think they wanted to have a straight Raw rematch on the pay-per-view. So they said, all right, you know what, Usos, you guys are over with the crowd. Let's throw you guys into this mix, and we'll have a triple threat tag team match. And all three of these teams are amazing competitors. You get the high-flying aspect of the Usos. They've done some crazy spots over the past few months. You have the Shield, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is the big brute of the team. Seth Rollins, I used to watch that guy in ROH. He's a fierce competitor. And then, of course, you have Rhodes and Goldust, who are very popular right now. And
just a surprise that Goldust is back full time. It's just, wow.
Well, yeah, when he returned at Raw in Toronto to try and get his brother Cody's job back, I thought Orton was going to win cleanly, and then that would be the last we saw of Goldust.
He did win cleanly, but he did not,
we saw more of Goldust, that's for sure.
Of course, he was teasing a little bit. Let's say at, I don't know, the Royal Rumble back in January. He was there. He did come out as a surprise entrant. In fact, ironically, to go beat up his brother.
Yeah, well, Cody was still heel back then. I never thought Cody was going to be a face, but it's working. He's really over with the crowd.
9 months later.
Yeah, I think Cody could have a run with either the world title or the WWE title in the near future. You know what? Start with the world title. Bring him up slowly. But right now, where Cody's at with Goldust, very popular tag team. I'm really enjoying the tag teams as of late.
Of course, that mashup of the new entrants is pretty damn good. So, you know what? It's going to be a good run for a while.
Yeah.
CM Punk also had his little feud escalate quickly just before this Sunday.
Yeah, he cut a promo saying that there's going to be no escape for Paul Heyman. Once he gets through Ryback at Hell in a Cell, there's going to be nowhere to hide. That's what I meant to say for Paul Heyman. And he cut a promo saying that, this is the end of that feud. This Sunday, CM Punk finishes Paul Heyman off once and for all.
Although, despite that he's able to finish, I mean, that doesn't mean that there's a chance that, maybe a Survivor Series classic battle.
Yeah, no question.
Them.
I think Survivor Series, you always have that traditional Survivor Series tag team match, and you need a lot of guys on both teams. It's usually 5 guys on each team, right? So that's definitely possible. Paul Heyman also cut a really good promo. He just cuts the best promos where he emphasizes how afraid he is of CM Punk. He's got the stubble to show that he hasn't shaved, very similar prior to his match with Punk at Night of Champions. And it's no different this time around. I think Paul Heyman is a little bit more confident that he's got Ryback backing him up, instead of Curtis Axel, because obviously Curtis Axel, not quite on the same level as Ryback, more of a mid-card guy. And I think Paul Heyman's definitely more comfortable.
And it's funny how you bring that up, because at the Raw that we went to back in September, that was here in Toronto at the Air Canada Center, there was a dark match, and Paul Heyman did cut a heck of a promo.
Yeah. And they had the week before Night of Champions is when that Raw was here, and they had that same handicap match that was going to be on the pay-per-view. They had it as the dark match of that night's Raw. It was CM Punk taking on Curtis Axel and Paul Heyman, and people wonder why are they showing this match right now if it's going to be on pay-per-view? You know what I mean? But that's the thing. It's not a lot of people in the arena, and it's a good way for them to practice for their pay-per-view match. Try out some spots and stuff.
Yeah, that's for sure. Now, obviously, we can't talk about what happened on SmackDown because SmackDown airs tomorrow. But we did read the spoilers, but, it's only reasonable that we just don't talk about it.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil anything for you guys. I'm still going to watch it live, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, so after all those big key moments on Raw, it only makes sense that we just go on to our thoughts about the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, again, from Miami. So, to start off simple, you want, so we're going to do a prediction kind of thing here. And, of course, we got to easily start off with, the Hell in a Cell kickoff. And that's this Sunday. It's going to be, before the show starts, Curtis Axel is going to defend that Intercontinental Championship with Paul Heyman by his side against the new face, Big E Langston.
When I heard someone turn face on SmackDown after I read a news report, I did not think it was Big E Langston. I mean, the first guy that came to my mind was Damian Sandow because they tested him as a face when he faced Alberto Del Rio a couple weeks prior on SmackDown. You know what? Big E Langston has gotten over with the crowd surprisingly quickly since being a heel, you know? And this is the thing. Curtis Axel, he's not that exciting to the crowd. I love the guy because he's a Paul Heyman guy.
Not only that, but he's Mr. Perfect's son.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a lot of heritage behind him, you know? And that's the thing. I think Big E Langston can't possibly lose cleanly or else his face turn will not work because then everything that he's worked for, the whole character of him being a really strong force to be reckoned with, that'll all go into the trash.
See, this is where I'm going to say that Big E Langston is going to become the new Intercontinental Championship. I think if with this big face turn that happened on SmackDown a few weeks back, it only makes sense that the cherry on top goes with the Intercontinental Championship. That's what I think. We got the Divas match, AJ Lee, Brie Bella, and I don't know. It's just something just tells me that Brie Bella just is not ready for a championship run yet. She just doesn't look like a person that would be a champion.
This is a rematch from last month's Battleground, and it was a decent Divas title match. But the thing is, like you said, I don't think Brie Bella is a good enough wrestler to be Divas champion yet. AJ is at the top of the division right now. She's the best female wrestler that they have by far. Although Total Divas is returning shortly, and I think the finale of Total Divas, they want somebody from that show to win the belt, and I think the Bellas are the main stars of Total Divas. Whether it happens now or sometime down the road, that is to be determined. I think AJ, and I predict AJ, will hold on to the Divas belt at Hell in a Cell.
So do I, and not only that, but I feel like we're going to see a Survivor Series match, a traditional match with these two involved, with AJ Lee
possibly
and
a Team
Total.
Bella versus Team AJ, something like that.
Or, Total Divas versus the WWE Divas.
You know what? Now that you say that makes more sense. A Team Total Divas versus Team WWE. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that at Survivor Series.
The Tag Team Championship is on the line. The Rhodes, Shield, and the Usos. And, with the success that the Rhodes have been getting so far, I don't see them dropping the belt just yet. It just, for me, you win in 2 weeks on Raw. I think a 2-week run is a little short. I feel like they're going to go in with this into Survivor Series. To put it back on the Shield just doesn't make sense.
No, and that's the thing. They just made that mashup. If they went to the time to making a good mashup, and it is good, for the Rhodes family, I think the Rhodes are going to hold on to those belts for a little bit longer now. I don't think the Shield has to have all the gold, although Dean Ambrose does still have the United States title, which will not be defended for the second pay-per-view in a row.
Surprising.
Yeah, but I think the Rhodes family extremely over with the crowd. Usos will definitely add to this match, although, like I said earlier in the show, it's still about the Shield versus the Rhodes family, and I say that the Rhodes family picks up the win here, possibly by pinning the Usos so that the Shield don't have to look bad. They don't have to be defeated.
Yeah, it's just it just doesn't make sense, It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I do see the Rhodes retaining. You got the handicap Hell in a Cell match. This one's going to be Hell in a Cell. Ryback and Heyman and CM Punk.
I'm so happy that this year the Hell in a Cell matches have meaning. In previous years, it was just this guy versus this guy in Hell in a Cell for no apparent reason, just because this is the pay-per-view that falls on this date, And Ryback screwed CM Punk at Night of Champions.
Oh, yeah.
He helped Paul Heyman. In the record books, it says, Night of Champions, Detroit, Michigan. Paul Heyman pins CM Punk.
Lies!
Okay? But here's the thing. Their boy Curtis Axel, he's not going to be able to get involved on Sunday because the Cell is going to be keeping those three guys in there.
Again, like I said earlier in the show, it doesn't necessarily mean but nobody can get in. People can get in, don't get me wrong, but I just don't see a spot for Curtis Axel.
You just have to believe.
Exactly.
But here's the thing. It is the numbers game. Ryback and Heyman, against Punk, that's 2-on-1. Now, okay, Heyman's not exactly a competitor.
It should be. If you really look at it, guys, it's a one-on-one match.
Yeah,
and Heyman is just a special guest beat-up doll.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. I predict that Heyman is going to hide under the ring. Maybe they'll close the door. Heyman will get out, and then they'll close the door somehow so that he's trapped in with Ryback for a short while before Heyman gets involved in the match. Not sure how that will occur, but I do believe that.
So hey, how's it going?
Is there a show going on?
Yeah. I'm sorry. No worries.
I do believe that CM Punk will take care of Ryback and then finally get his hands on Paul Heyman.
The World Heavyweight Championship is on the line. Del Rio facing the returning John Cena. That's pretty big.
Yeah,
Cena coming back. I mean, they said he was going to come back at the Rumble. All of a sudden, you got him for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, this is what I think. As some people have disagreed, I do think that John Cena will win the title, but we finally see a cash-in.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I would love to see a cash-in, but don't they want to build up Damian Sandow first? Don't they want to give him a few wins before he cashes in?
Unless, he says, oh, you've been losing all this, and all of a sudden, no, bam, there's my opportunity. Because how many times, and Edge said it himself at Raw, he set up the blueprint for a Money in the Bank. You could lose all these matches, but at the end of the day, you just simply, take advantage.
That's the thing. It would be easy, for Damian Sandow to cash in, A, because Cena's coming back for injury, and B, because, Del Rio could attack Cena after the bell, with that injury and the added attack after the match is over. It'd be an easy cash in for Sandow, or he could cash in, lose, and that would just be a total waste.
And last but not least, because we do got to wrap this up quickly, the vacant WWE Championship, and for me, something says that Orton's going to win this thing. I feel like HBK is going to do a sudden heel turn, a mini one, despite that he's not there full time. And I feel like he's going to take advantage.
Yeah, I think Triple H said it great on Monday's Raw. He said to Stephanie McMahon, "Don't worry, Steph. I know Sean will do the right thing." That sent a chill down my spine, okay? I think HBK, in the end, is going to join the Authority, deliver that devastating Sweet Chin music to Daniel Bryan, and Randy Orton is going to regain that coveted WWE Championship this Sunday.
Yep. So we just reached our half hour.
Is that it already?
That's it. That's going to conclude our first podcast. And to tell you, Sam, I think it went pretty damn well.
Yeah, a few stumbles here and there.
Yeah, of course. It's the first time. Especially, at least for me, I haven't been inside this radio room since when was the last time I was in here? July.
I've done a few YouTube podcasts before and stuff like that. It takes practice, and I think we got a good formula here, and we chose a great week to start. Like
indeed. So we're on Twitter. Follow us at After the Count. It's run by Sam here.
You know it. You'll see me tweeting every WWE show, Raw, SmackDown, pay-per-views. You know it.
So this is going to be uploaded on my YouTube page, just at Jose Taboada. We'll put up a link up as soon as possible. So if you can, subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter. We don't have a Facebook page, so we'll leave it at that. And, yeah.
Make sure you check out Hell in a Cell.
Exactly.
This Sunday.
Now, also, before we wrap it up, we do have a phone in here. We don't really know how to work it. I was in here an hour trying to figure that out. But, if you're interested in giving your opinion on the show, let's say either for a Raw review or after a pay-per-view preview or aftermath, give us a tweet or let us know, and we'll see if we can connect you to this show.
Yeah, we really want to get involved with you guys. We know wrestling fans have a lot to say, so we want to hear from you. So let us know on Twitter or whatever. However you want to get a hold of us, just get a hold of us.
So for Sam Pierce, I'm Jose Taboada. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, rather, to After the Count, the first ever podcast. Enjoy Hell in a Cell this Sunday, live on pay-per-view.